What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to the show. Ryan and Joseph here for you as always. We also have a special guest that is running a little bit late, but it's Bellator middleweight, the number 4 ranked middleweight there on the Bellator roster. Dalton Costa will join us here in a moment. We're going to get to a lot today, Joseph, so we'll get right after it. Once Dalton comes in, we're going to talk about Bellator 297, which goes down this weekend as well. But as always, UFC is what we're going to dive into first, and UFC Vegas 75 is what we have this Saturday, headlined by Marvin Vettori and Jared Cannonier. This is essentially a pick 'em. Vettori's minus 115, Cannonier minus 105. How do you see this fight going?
I like that fight, man. I think it'll be interesting. I think that I think I'm gonna go with Cannonier, man. I think Cannonier is a little bit more well-rounded. And just in my opinion, he goes for everything a little bit more. So he'll put him on the cage, he'll, go for takedowns, whatever's working, I feel Cannonier will try and go for. So I got Cannonier for sure. Second round. Was he the minus?
Well, it's essentially a pick 'em. From what I'm seeing right now, Cannonier minus 105, Vettori minus 115. My question for you though too is, I mean, we know Vettori, he'll like to clinch, he'll like to wrestle. I'm sure if he feels one of Jared's big shots, he might want to close that distance even faster and turn this into a grappling match. Do you feel like Vettori can grind out a decision here? Because a lot of people that I talk to feel like that's what they think is going to transpire here in this matchup.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like I've seen so much more of Vettori like standing up. I feel like I've seen more of that. I feel like I don't see as much of him shooting, but I mean, I feel like Cannonier will be ready for it. But I got Cannonier. I've never really been much of a Vettori fan. Like I said, I feel like I don't see much of his grappling, but yeah, I got Cannonier.
Okay, really interesting there. I'm excited to see this one. We know Cannonier has the power to stun Vettori and maybe get him out of there. I'm excited for that one. That's your main event. The co-main event, I mean, the odds are very, very far apart. Joaquim Silva plus 700, Arman Tsukarian minus 1,000. Is there any way that Arman Tsukarian doesn't win this fight?
Minus 1,000.
Yeah, and I heard some people saying that it should be even higher than that. I'm looking at Bovada right now. It's minus 1,100. Yeah, bet online minus 1,000. It's very the odds
Preposterous.
are.
That's preposterous.
So he's a heavy favorite, Joseph. Does he get it done, or do you feel like there's any
It's-
dog money here on Joaquim Silva?
Honestly, I think it's worth going for it. That is absolutely absurd. Minus 1,000. I think it's worth throwing something on it. He does have a chance, man. You always have a puncher's chance, and I'm sure he's been training just as much. This isn't a short notice or anything, is it?
No.
Yeah, no, I would. I wouldn't go for the dog, but I think it's worth. I think it's worth the attempt with Joaquin Silva.
Okay. I mean, Joaquim Silva, I mean, it's 12-3. And this
Like that's
isn't a
kind of disrespectful.
yeah, I mean, it's not like he's a chump. He's in there, a high level fighter. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Co-main event, Arman Tsukarian, massive favorite. I'm excited for this next one too. This is actually a middleweight bout. Christian Leroy Duncan and Armin Petrosian. Christian Leroy Duncan actually is the small favorite, minus 155. And Petrosian is the dog, plus 135. How do you feel about this middleweight matchup?
Dude, Petrosian has some volume for that man. But I like Duncan, man. I feel like he's creative and very powerful. But um man, I might go for Petrosian because yeah, recently I watched him have like one of the most grimiest like fights he should not have won, and he came back and won. I want to remember who that was against, but I like Petrosian in this fight, man. His volume and his combinations they're just so amazing, and I love to watch him. So I like the fight, but I think I'm going for Petrosian.
Yeah, Petrosian is coming off a UD win over AJ Dobson. Prior to that, he had a UD loss to Kai Barajo, and he had a split decision win over Gregory Rodriguez before that. So he's been in there with some high level competition.
Yeah, he has. I like him in this fight. I like him a lot in this fight.
Okay, so you got some dog money right there. Maybe win a little bit if you put that together in a parlay. We'll keep it moving, man. Pat Sabatini, Lucas Almeida is up next. Sabatini is your favorite -185. Almeida +155, depending on where you bet. A lot of people just think that Sabatini's wrestling is going to be the reason he gets a win here. Do you agree with that, or do you feel like they're sleeping on Almeida?
I don't think they're sleeping on him. I think that it's just like, that's what's popular now, and that's what's winning fights, honestly. And with him having the background that he has, I think that he has a huge chance as well. Um, so yeah, I think I would go for Sabatini as well. I think I got Sabatini in this fight.
Yeah, I feel like that might be the safe play, especially he wants to get back on the winning track here. So this is a
Yeah.
big fight for him. Nicholas Mota and Manuel Torres is up next. Torres is your favorite -180. Mota, the dog, +155. How do you see this fight playing out?
Ooh, I just had to look at him here to remember who he was, but that guy's a grinder. Mota is nasty, but Torres is the longer guy here on this fight. And who's the favorite?
Right now, the favorite would be, let's see, I just lost it there. -180 for Torres. Mota's the dog, +155. The Iridium guy is the dog here.
That's crazy. Why they holding us like that? No, I'll go with my guy. I can't go against my guy. Mota with the Iridium Sports Management Agency, and we are the dogs. So you got some dog money. My guy's gonna pull it off.
Okay. So you're going with another underdog here. I like it, man. I
Mm-hmm.
like it. All right. Muslim Salikov, Nicholas Dalby up next. Salikov is the favorite, -190. Nicholas Dalby +165. This one here is a lightweight bout, a few lightweight belts so far. How do you see this one shaking out? No, excuse me. This is a welterweight. My bad.
Yeah, welterweight. Dobby's a cool looking dude. Let me see. Who you got in this bout?
Man, this is a tough one. I think I'd probably lean towards the favorite here. I think he's a little more well rounded, but Dalby has that power, man, where it can change the fight. Lickety split. So that's a tough one. But I'd probably lean with the favorite here, Salikov.
Yeah, I'm looking at Salikov here, and King of Kung Fu, he says. I think I got Salikov too. He has a nice looking record, 19-3, with recent win over Fialho. So he lost to the Leech, which that's a high level guy. I think I'm gonna go with the favorite as well, just to be safe. But the numbers aren't very big anyway, so.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel though, with the power that Dalby has, that this could be one of those fights where it's a little tricky to bet here?
Yeah, it'd definitely be tricky to bet on it. I don't know. Plus, I don't think either guy is very popular, but yeah, you definitely have a good chance of winning money off a homeboy because he's putting in work and he's coming off of 2 recent wins, and then his only loss in the last year was to Tim Means, a veteran.
Yeah,
So
dirty bird.
You actually have a good chance with this guy. Nicholas Dalby, yeah, because he has a nice record too, 21-4. Danish Dynamite, yeah, I would go for the underdog. Actually, let me fix that.
Okay.
I got Nicholas Dalby. He's looking good. He has recent wins that he's working with. I hate to go against my Iridium guy, but Mota, pull it off, bro. I'm rooting for you. Come on, Mota.
Yeah, this could be a card where maybe a lot of upsets happen here. This is another one too that I'm excited about, and a lot of people are riding this underdog here. Miles Johns +180 against Hani Barcelos -225. Look, Miles Johns is a veteran. This guy, well-rounded fighter. Do you feel like these odds are accurate, or do you feel like this should be a little bit closer, maybe even a pick 'em?
I think Miles Johns is great. I mean, he's been up and down with as far as like winning and losing, but he's always stuck strict to his game plan. Plus, he was out at Iridium. I mean, not Iridium. Excuse me, Glory with right at the end, he had just kind of got there. So, I don't know how he's handling everything emotionally. I don't know if I've seen him fight since all that stuff going on either. I like Miles Johns a lot in this too. I think you have some underdog opportunity with him if he's in his best mentally and physically, because I don't know what he's going through or if it affected him much at all, but I do recall him moving out to Kansas City like maybe a month before everything went to shit. So I don't know if that affected him or not, but if it didn't, I think he could do super duper well in this fight to make the upset. So
I think a lot of people are on him here for some underdog money, and rightfully so. This guy's, like I said, super big time veteran, very well-rounded fighter. He could very easily win this fight. Another guy that we both like, Joseph, Jimmy Flick. He's back in action. He's taking on Alessandro Costa. Flick's a pretty big underdog here. 210 plus 210. Costa is the favorite, minus 245. And we were both wrong on Jimmy's last fight. I don't want to say we were disrespectful to Charles Johnson, but we both thought that Jimmy was going to go in there and get it done. And he didn't. That was Charles Johnson's fight all day. Does Jimmy Flick get back on track here?
Well, Alessandro Costa is a step down. I think Charles Johnson would do the same, if not worse, to this guy, to Costa. But against Flick, my thing is where does he train? Where does Flick train?
He still trains in his hometown. Same guys, unless he switched things up for this camp. This is actually one of the first fights that he's had in a while where I haven't gotten an interview in with him beforehand. So I don't know if he's changed it up, but I know he's been very loyal to the team he came up with. And that sometimes, I mean, you see it a lot, guys that train with the same group as they're younger in their career. Then they get to a certain level and they realize, I got to go away. I got to go to a big gym where I'm going to have the right training partners to help me elevate my game. I don't know if that's the case here. I don't know if that's going to affect him or not.
Yeah, well, I like Flick, dude. I can't go back on that. Flick's a veteran. Flick is, he has a style that I feel like is becoming like ancient almost. Like there's not a lot of guys like him. There is a few, but every time they do come up, they're like, the heavy jiu-jitsu guys who have really, really, really good technique. That's what I mean. So I like Jimmy, and I'll always ride with Jimmy Flick. So I got Jimmy Flick on this.
Okay. I'm going to say the same thing because I like him an awful lot as well. So going to go with Jimmy Flick as well. It looks like Dalton is coming in now. So we'll let him in the show. There he is. Dalton, what's up, bud?
What's up, bro? How's it going?
It's going well.
Thanks for waiting for me.
Yeah. No worries. Have you met Joseph before?
I don't think we have.
How's it going, brother?
Good. How are you?
Good, bro.
Yeah, it's good to have you on, man. We're talking about the upcoming UFC Vegas 75 card. We've talked about it a little bit. We'll circle back to just the beginning of the card so you can give your take on it. Obviously, this is a high level fight right at the top of the card between Vettori and Cannonier. Right now, it's essentially a pick 'em. If you look at the odds, Vettori minus 115, Cannonier minus 105. How do you like this fight? Who do you think is going to win this one?
I think Vettori's going to take it. He has a good gas tank. Cannonier, likes to keep a slow pace. He likes to draw it out, kind of lure you in. But Vettori's in your face the whole entire time. So stylistically, I think Vettori's going to take this, although I do think Cannonier's the better fighter. This is just one of those scenarios where MMA math doesn't work out the way that you think it does. And I think Vettori takes it. I think decision, though.
Yeah. See, that's kind of what I was thinking, Joseph. You utilize that wrestling. He's going to play it safe. If he gets landed, if Cannonier lands on them big shots on him, Vettori's not going to mess around with that. He's going to get him into the clinch, get him down to the ground. That's what I think.
Okay, that's what y'all think. I got Cannonier, man. I think he's gonna mollywop Vettori ass, because I think that Vettori tries to stand up sometimes a little too much. Like if you got a good wrestling base, you should use it more often. And I just feel like I don't see that from him. So I think he's gonna get caught and rocked and popped.
See, I don't think Vettori has a good wrestling base. I don't think he's a wrestler. I don't know where that came from.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, no, I feel like he tries to stand up a lot more, and like I don't think his stand up's very good.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like I've seen a lot of people label him as a wrestler, and I don't know where that originated from. He's not a wrestler. But now, like I said, Cannonier, I believe, is a better fighter, the better striker, but Vettori has that style where he's in your face the entire time and he can push the pace. Cannonier has shown he doesn't have a good gas tank. He likes a slow pace. So if Vettori can get him on his back foot and get him uncomfortable where he can't settle in and, pick and choose his shots and sit down on his shots, it's going to be a long day for Cannonier.
Yeah, either way, it's going to be a great fight, guys. This is a perfect main event for a fight night card at the Apex. High level, couple of guys right at the top of the division. Dalton, I got to ask you, man. There's so many fighters in and out of the gym at AT&T every day. It's probably tough to keep up with just who's in there day in and day out. Are there any fighters that you've seen in the gym that are on this particular card here coming up this weekend?
Yeah, Armin struggles pronouncing his last name.
Sukarian?
Yes. Him, and then we call him Neto Silva. That's his nickname. Both of them have been training in the gym. To be honest with you, I didn't even know they were fighting each other. I knew they both had a fight coming up, but I didn't know they were fighting each other, and they're in the gym together. They're not training with each other, but I see them both day in and day out. And I'm sure that they walk past each other and see each other. I'm sure they've been in the sauna together at the same time. I don't understand how that works. That throws me off a little bit myself. But that's another fight. I think Armin's going to take it because of the wrestling, and he's going to be able to dictate where the fight goes. I'm friends with Neto, but this is just me calling it how it is. I'm not picking sides, picking favorites here. I think that Armin's going to take it. He's going to out wrestle him, and he's going to make it, another long night. He's going to grind him out.
Is that what you see like when they spar with each other and stuff in the gym, or you really never seen them like
sparring? They don't spar with each other. No, they don't spar with each other. Like I said, they didn't train with each other at all this camp. I've seen them both at the gym, although the only class that I think or practice that I think they've done together at the same time may be like a group grappling practice in the morning. So the way our schedule works is we have mandatory practices Monday through Friday in the morning, and then Saturday's optional. And then nighttime's optional. There's some guys that literally just go in there and do Monday through Friday in the morning, and then they go do whatever for the rest of the day. But there's guys that are in there 2-3 times a day. I see both of them in there 2-3 times a day, but they're typically doing different things, like with different coaches, and not working around each other.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I would imagine that they'd have certain coaches that would just divvy them up and just work with them individually, so they're not kind of crossing over and getting different coaches that are working with both.
And
in California?
No, South Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, ATT. You've never been to ATT, Joseph. You got to get down there. They got a bunch of
I want to. It sounds freaking fun. That sounds super fun. Like, it sounds like you guys have like a lot of options and people to train with and stuff. So
yeah, there's a lot of training partners, a lot of coaches. There's a lot of people that I heard complain that they came to ATT and felt like they didn't get the attention that they needed, or they can never get work with the coaches, like pad work or privates or whatever. And I think that has a lot to do with just the person's work ethic. So there's people at the gym now that I'm actually friends with, but I tell them straight to their face all the time, I'm not going to drop any names though, where they complain saying like, oh, why do they always post this guy on their Instagram, on ATT's Instagram? And why does this guy always get like extra pad work, and I never get to get privates or whatever? If I do, I have to pay or whatever. And I'm like, listen, man, it's because you come in here and you talk shit to everybody saying that you could, not to their face, but like you'll say you beat so-and-so's ass, but they already train 3 times a day, 4 days this week, and you're on the 5th day and you're only on your 5th training session and they're on their 13th. You know what I mean? There's a big difference. The coaches and the owner of the gym and the manager of the gym see these guys coming in 2 to 3 times a day, and they see them working their ass off, and then they see you laying on your back just fucking around every practice, and they're going to put their effort towards people that are putting effort in themselves. They're not going to waste their time or their money or their resources. So you got guys that are complaining, saying they don't get pad work. Well, it's probably because you don't put the effort in, and they don't want to put their effort into you when they got a bunch of other fighters that they need to tend to as well. And as for like the Instagram posts and stuff like that, they tend to post people pretty often that are hard workers and that emulate what they want out of the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can't even imagine what it's like as a fighter to be there training day in and day out with the phenomenal coaching, all the great training partners. I got to ask you too, Dalton, this show's a little bit different because normally we focus specifically on the UFC card that's coming up this weekend, but Bellator 297 is Friday night, and you're the number 4 ranked middleweight on the Bellator roster. You're the actual first fighter that we've had on the show that is outside of the UFC roster. So we appreciate you doing this. We have to talk Bellator 297. It's a monster card. We have the light heavyweight title fight as the main event. Nemkov and Yoel Romero, Soldier of God. The odds are very far apart. Nemkov's a pretty big favorite here. Is there any chance? Obviously, Romero's got a lot of power. Do you think he catches him, or is this Nemkov's fight to lose?
I mean, there's always that chance. Everybody has a puncher's chance in MMA. 4-ounce gloves, and then you're looking at guys like Yoel Romero. There's 205 pounders now. Yoel Romero has probably been a 205 pounder his entire life, and somehow just made it by the skin on his ass to make weight at 185. But these guys got power. They're explosive, so anything can happen. But if we're talking about straight skill, Nemkov's going to win it all day long. When you look at Yoel Romero, the guy relies on his explosion. He relies on his power. Obviously, he has a good wrestling pedigree. He was an Olympic or silver medalist, but he doesn't utilize it. He tends to just sit there, hands high, kick you in your leg, kind of draw you in, throw 1-2, kick you in your leg, and he just does that all fight long and just tries to lure you in and hit you with the big shot. I don't think he's comfortable with getting tired. He probably doesn't train that hard, and he's getting older in age. So I think that's what you're going to see this fight, and I don't think Nemkov's going to, let that happen. I think he's going to take advantage of that slow pace that Yoel Romero likes to put on. And same scenario, like I said, with the Vettori and Cannonier. I think that Nemkov's just going to be in his face all night long, and it's going to make Yoel Romero uncomfortable. And we might actually even see the same thing we saw with Phil Davis and Yoel Romero, where Nemkov is getting the takedowns against the cage where Yoel Romero's not ready for it, or he's just putting a bunch of shots in his face, and Yoel Romero has his hands real high. He's doing this like he always does against the cage, and then he gets taken down.
Joseph, is that how you see this fight?
Yeah. I think Yoel's just kind of really awkward to fight. So I don't know if Nemkov had a training partner that could like emulate him. You get what I'm saying? So I think that Yoel does have a chance of catching him, like with the stand up, maybe more so like second round, like after they've gotten settled in, if they go to the second round. But I totally agree that Yoel will probably get taken down. But Yoel was very explosive. So I almost can see something strange happening pretty early. This is a 5-rounder too, right? So, Yoel's definitely going to be very low, very slow pace. So I don't know. I think that Vadim has a great chance of winning. I haven't seen much of Vadim, but Yoel is very awkward. So there's a chance.
Yeah, the odds are very, very far apart. Nemkov -600, Romero +375. Also, Sergio Pettis and Patricio Pitbull on that same card. Dalton, Patricio -190 favorite, Sergio +145 dog. How do you see this fight going?
I think Patricio is probably going to win by knockout. Sergio is a good fighter, but we saw what Kyoji Horiguchi was doing to him before. he got caught. Kyoji was winning that fight pretty handedly. And I think it's going to be the same thing for Patricio if he doesn't get a knockout early.
Okay. And you did mention Phil Davis earlier. He's back. Really interesting fight against Corey Anderson. Phil Davis plus 140, Corey Anderson minus 185 as the favorite. Do you think those odds are right, or is Mr. Wonderful getting disrespected a little bit here?
No, I think these odds are all right for the Bellator cards. They usually choose them right. Bellator is a little bit different than UFC in that regard, and I don't think it's due to a lack of talent. I just think it's due to, it seems that the better fighter wins more often in Bellator. They're not so much putting their life on the line for a $50,000 fight in a night bonus, and they fight smart. They fight with a high fight IQ, and they stick to their game plan a lot more. I think Corey Anderson is going to take this one as well. I think his MMA wrestling is better than Phil's, and Phil is still very stiff in his stand-up, and he's well-rounded, but he's not fantastic anywhere. Even with his wrestling, he has very good wrestling, but his MMA wrestling, just okay. He has good leg kicks too, though. So if he can utilize those, there's a possibility he can win. If he doesn't get those going early, I think Corey Anderson takes it.
Give me a couple of other fights here on the Bellator card that you feel like could stand out and, maybe steal the show. I'm excited to see my guy Mike Hamill back in there. He's taking on Shamil Nakayev. Hamill it's almost a pick 'em right now, minus 110. Nakayev is minus 120. Is there any other fights on the card other than the ones that we just discussed that you feel like really could stand out here?
I know Ramazan versus Jalil Willis. Jalil Willis might be. Is he the favorite or underdog on this?
Plus 174 is Willis, and Ramazan is minus 225 as the favorite.
So I'm going to go with the favorite on that one. Ramazan's very good. So I just met him recently. He might have been at ATT for a while, but I sparred with him a couple weeks ago. He's very quick. But catches you off guard type of quick. And he has very good kicks. He can throw them from all angles, all different ranges. And he has good wrestling to back it up. I don't see a way that Jalil Willis can win this fight, honestly. So I think that's somebody to look out for. He has a 10-0 record, and it's not like one of those 10-0s where he fought a bunch of cans and he may have. Let me check out the dude's record. He very well may have, but if he did, it's still not indicative of how good he is. He's much better than a regular 10-0, in my opinion. So, and then we got Cody Laws fighting on the card against Edwin Chavez.
Law is a huge favorite, minus 550. Edwin Chavez plus 350.
And I think this is right as well. Cody had a couple, bad performances. I don't want to say bad performances. His last one was still pretty good, but that was a hard one to score. You know what I mean? I had him up 2-1. I was watching it in the locker room without the commentary, so I was just judging it based off what I seen. I didn't let anything affect me. I didn't let the biased commentary affect me. And so the way I saw that, I thought it was 2-1, and I thought Cody won. But me and my coach both at the same time, Anderson Franca, when we were watching it, we were like, man, we don't know, because we were keeping in mind like how MMA judges are. So we were like, yeah, we thought he won. But at the end of the day, with these judges, it's like he may have lost, and then he ended up losing that one. But besides that, like I said, those really aren't very telling of how good he is. He's very good, very hard worker as well. And I think this is a mismatch here for this one. So I think he has a very good fight and potential for a very good or very great performance this fight coming up. We got Daniel James is fighting. Everybody loves this guy. You know what I mean? He just bust out on the scene recently with a couple knockouts. And I think he fought, this is his second fight in Chicago already? It's his third fight with Bellator, second one in Chicago. They've gotten him on both Chicago cards, I'm pretty sure.
15,
He's from
season.
Chicago.
Is he? Yeah. I say he beat Marcelo Gome and Tyrell Fortune before that. I'm not sure if that one was in Chicago or not. Yeah, it was. It was in Chicago.
Yeah, so they're going to keep this guy home because the Chicago people love him. Now he's fighting Gokhan Sarkom. I don't know much about that guy. I watched him fight Steve Mowry once, but that's the only film I've ever seen on that guy, the Gokhan. So I can't really call this one. But Daniel James has the equalizer. It's a heavyweight division. You know what I mean? I'm going to go ahead and pick Daniel James on that. And that's just, that's a pick 'em for me. So we got Kyle Kutchmer versus Bobby Nash. I think call it Kyle Kutchmer. I'm not going to try and go through all of these. I'm just looking at names that are popping off. Norbert Novenyi Jr. He's a very good fighter. He's a prospect in my weight class. I've watched him a few times. He's out of the same camp as MVP and Mike Shipman. Still a prospect, though. I think he only had like one fight against decent competition so far, but he excelled. So he put on a great performance. I think he's going to do the same thing this fight. Dude's pretty good. So
it's a good card. It really is top to bottom. Yeah, I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and pay for Zoom Pro.
Hey, it'll be worth it in the long run.
Yeah, it will. The first time it happened was when I had Rampage on.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he was cool though. He's like, don't let that happen again. He's like, I'll kick your ass when I see you.
Yeah, bro, you can't let that happen anymore.
Yeah.
I seen you start kind of like pushing it. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know. My bad.
Well, I think it'll help you too, like to be more relaxed.
Yeah, no, for sure. Sorry about that, Dalton.
It's all good.
Yeah, so we'll just pick right back up, guys. So yeah, I mean this card top to bottom, Dalton, it really is fantastic. Again, Bellator 297, Chicago, Illinois. Any other fights here that you haven't highlighted that you feel like really could stand out?
As I'm looking right now, there's none that are going to be like jaw-dropping fights or really surprise anybody, but somebody else to look out for would be Jordan Newman. I mean, he's also in my weight class. He's a fight, but it looks like it's another developmental fight. He's fighting Matthew Carey.
I lost my debut to that kid.
Who, Jordan Newman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good fighter. I should say good wrestler.
Definitely just a good wrestler.
Yeah, he's failed to improve in a lot of areas, I feel. He's very awkward on the feet, which may cause some problems for somebody. Usually that just causes problems for really good strikers that are used to like countering things correctly. But besides that, I mean, the kid has good wrestling. He's got to utilize it. He's going to win here. So there's going to be a lot of people hyping him up and talking him up, but pretty one-dimensional guy.
All right. Well, yeah, another great card for Bellator. We'll transition back to the UFC. Can't wait to see you back in action, though, Dalton. I got to say that Aaron Jeffrey will be your next opponent. He's number 6, Bellator 298. That will be August the 11th. So we're definitely going to have to do an interview before that fight creeps up on us. It'll be here before you know it. To get back to UFC Vegas 75, guys, we've talked about already a lot about the main card, but I want to ask you both about Modestas Bukauskas and Zach Pauga. It's a light heavyweight bout. Right now, Pauga is the underdog, plus 172. Modestas is your favorite, minus 197. Joseph, let me start with you here on this one. How do you see this light heavyweight bout going? Do you feel like one of these guys is going to go in there and get a big stoppage?
Honestly, I was trying to look the kids up because I can't even recognize them in my head without seeing their faces. So maybe
Zach Pauga was on the Tough. He was on the Ultimate Fighter a couple seasons ago whenever they did the heavyweights and the 135 pounders. And he's actually a 205 pounder that moved up to heavyweight for the show, I believe. He fought at 205 against one of my teammates, Mark Perez, in LFA, I believe. after Marcus got cut by the UFC, and he ended up beating Marcus. I watched the fight. The kid's pretty good. Does he have heavyweight power? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm looking at this other guy. He has a decent amount of stoppages. Stops first round by punches, first round retirement. I don't know if that would be punches or doctor stoppage. Elbows first round, win punches fourth round, win punches second round, win punches first round. So this guy's a finisher. He has a couple decision wins in there of late, but I think this being at heavyweight and this Zach Pauga is an up and comer. He's going to want to show, what he's made of. And this guy might be getting back to his finishing ways. So I think they're both probably going to be going in there looking for the finish. And I'm going to go ahead and pick Modestas for the knockout.
I think this is actually at 205, if I'm not mistaken, looking at it now.
I think it's light heavy.
Oh, it is. Yes. So Zach went back down to light heavy.
Yeah. He looked super lean in his last fight. I couldn't believe how much weight he lost because as we saw in The Ultimate Fighter, he lost to Kamaru's brother in the finale and guy was a monster. So the fact that he's back down to 205, that's a lot of weight that he's dropped. But I think it's no mistake that the UFC is kicking the card off with this fight because this is a certified banger to get everyone excited.
Yeah, I actually like Zach in this fight. I think Zach's really, really like not smart, but just like he sticks to his game plan. I think he's really like disciplined. Yeah. But I think this might be the hardest fight he's ever had, honestly. The guys he fought in The Ultimate Fighter, outside of Usman, but because even Usman's, in my opinion, not that good. But I do think that Zach will have like a chip on his shoulder. So I like this fight. I don't know if I'd go for anyone, but if so, it would just be hoping Zach wins because I liked him in The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, that's going to be a great fight there to kick off the card, UFC Vegas 75. Dalton, when you look at the UFC card here, is there any underdogs that stand out to you that you feel like could win a better some money? I mean, I look at someone like a Miles Johns, who's a veteran. He's a plus 180, depending on what site you want to bet on. He's taking on Hani Barcelos. I mean, that's not a layup. That's a very tough opponent. But is there any dogs that stand out to you that you feel like could, bark and win some big money?
I don't think Miles Johns, but if I'm gonna bet on an underdog, is Armin Petrosyan? Is he an underdog?
Armin Petrosyan is an underdog, plus 135.
I'm gonna take him for sure. He lost his last fight. The kid's good, really good. He trains at ATT, and I'm not picking that again because he's from ATT, but like because he's one of the guys that I watch him spar and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this guy's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? We're all professional fighters. You see good guys every day, so it's very rare that you see a guy that like, wow, I'm training with the best in the world, but this guy is in a gym with the best in the world, and he's like standing out today. You know what I mean? Like one of those things. I've never sparred with him, but I've seen him spar, and the dude's high level.
Yeah, that fight is what is that one? Let me just double check here.
It's co-main, right?
No, he lost to Caio Barrajo in his last one.
Oh, that's right.
Caio just stuck to his game plan, wrestled him. He was doing well in the striking too, but Caio's just real like shifty and he moves a lot. It's good footwork. He's quick. He's in and out. But Armin's very, very good. I think that if they fight again and Armin comes with a better game plan, I think he would have won that fight.
Yeah. Barajo, that guy's a beast. And
he's a beast. Very good fighter. Very good fighter.
And Petrosyan, that's right. I remember him. He's very, very dangerous fighter. And that's a 185 pound fight right there. So that's your weight class. I'm surprised that you haven't trained with him.
So he's not, when he comes here, he's not here long. He's here for like 3 weeks and he has like kind of like his sparring partners like picked out, I would have loved to spar with him. He's good. And that's going to be my underdog pick for this fight.
Okay.
Yeah, his last fight with Caio's really good, but Caio's game plan was better. He had better wrestling, and he utilized it, and that's how he won that fight. But speaking of Caio fought Aaron Jeffrey on the Contender Series. So that's why I was aware of that fight before it happened, and I was making sure to watch it. But yeah,
that's your underdog pick. Joseph, what's your underdog pick of the card?
Is Carlos Hernandez the underdog in his bout?
Carlos Hernandez. He is, yes, he is. Plus 110. Denny's Bonder, minus 130.
I like Carlos, bro. Carlos is a gamer. I'm going for Carlos Hernandez. He's my underdog for sure.
How does he get it done?
That golden Frieza in the background.
You like that?
Yes, sir.
You see Gear 4 Luffy over here?
I'm more of a Dragon Ball Z guy.
Hey, no biggie. Me too. I watch it all, though. I'm actually going to an anime festival this Saturday, a food festival.
Awesome. That's awesome.
But, yeah, my guy is Carlos Hernandez, though, for sure. He's a gamer, bro. He gets down.
Before we get out here, guys, give me your locks. Dalton, let me start with you. What's your lock of this card? And tell me what's your lock for the Bellator card as well.
My lock for this card is Armin Tsukarian. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Sukarian. Armin Sukarian.
Sukarian, man.
Dude, I know all about
English major, man. Fuck. I can speak, but obviously I can't fucking read. But I'm gonna go him for my lock for this card, followed by Vettori. You know, if you want to pick and choose your lock, if you're not sold on Armin and we want another idea, I would go Vettori after that. Now for my Bellator card, read me off the main card again, so I'm not missing any.
Okay, so the main card that we have here for Bellator, you got Vadim Nemkov and Romero. Nemkov is a massive favorite, minus 600. Romero plus 375 as a dog. Sergio Pettis and Patricio Freire. Patricio minus 200. Sergio plus 150. Corey Anderson and Phil Davis. Phil Davis is your dog plus 140. Corey Anderson minus 185. And you got Gokhan Sukarian and Daniel James. It's pretty close. Gokhan is minus 130. Daniel James plus 100. And yeah, that's the main card right there.
Man. I mean, I think all the favorites are right except for the Gokhan, but I mean, I wouldn't say any of those are locks, man. If I had to go with a lock, I would go with Patricio, because the other ones being at bigger weight classes, anybody can get finished. And Phil Davis, even though I'm leaning towards Corey Anderson, does have good wrestling, like I said, and he can come out there and prove me wrong on that. So, look, I'm gonna go ahead with Patricio. I think that's the best lock on that card.
All right. And Joseph, what are you feeling? Do you have a lock?
Armin Sukarian, for sure. He's my lock, like guaranteed. He's winning that fight.
Okay, minus 1,000. He's a pretty big favorite. Any other locks that stand out to you for the UFC card?
Yeah, Carlos Hernandez as well. And then I would ride with my man Jimmy, because I'm always riding with my man Jimmy.
Jimmy the Brick. I love
it. Carlos Hernandez, though, would be my other lock. I think he's an underdog, you said.
Yeah, Jimmy the Brick. That is the perfect gangster nickname. I absolutely love it. And he knows it too. That's why he keeps going with it. Dalton, before we get out of here, man, obviously, as I said earlier, we're going to do a full-length interview to leading up to your fight with Aaron Jeffrey, but just preview this for us right here. How ultimately do you envision your upcoming fight playing out? And it's a big one for you. You're number 4. He's number 6. You got to get this win.
Yeah, man, I got to get the win, but I also got to get a finish. Man, you date back to my amateur days, they were all finishes. Even in my boxing matches, finished my first 3 or 4 fights in Bellator, and then I've been hit or miss the past few. I'm starting to finally get a handle on like when to step on the gas, when not to. Whereas like the first 3 fights, I was stepping on the gas the whole entire time, redlining, and I got tired. Luckily, I got to finish when I did. Last few, been relaxed and staying too calm. So I've been trying to find that sparring, and I have. And the goal is to go out there and get a finish. I think second round KO or TKO.
Can't wait. August 11th. Is it August 11th or the 8th?
August 11th.
August 11th. Okay, man, I can't wait for that fight. That's going to be a very, very high level middleweight bout for Bellator, man. I can't wait for it.
It will. It's gonna be a tough fight. I'm expecting a tough fight, but I do believe I can get the finish. It's gonna be tough up until that point, but I strongly believe that I can get it.
Awesome. Dalton, we really appreciate you doing this, man. Glad we could connect. We'll have to have you back on at some point here in the very near future. So we definitely appreciate your time here today. So for Joseph and Dalton, I am Ryan. We'll see you guys next week.